with the drought situation, fuel moisture and so forth. North Florida all the way up into Albany, around just south of the rivers, in extreme drought. You can follow any of the statistics. And right now, Dodge County is in a severe drought as we stand. So we are seeing increase in fire activity. The rain that we got yesterday was much needed, but it won't stick around. And a lot of dry fuels we have left over from hurricane, fuels that are still on the ground, and forestries from that. It got to the point Saturday we had 3 active fires in the county at any given time, as well as western Orange County. They had multiple fires running. And so forestry's resources are stretched thin as well. So we're seeing an increase in activity and increased calls for service there. With that being said, we're looking at the available calls. All 4 of those structures were without insurance. So there was nothing there to bill against without going straight to the property owner, which is not within the ordinance, my understanding. And we're also looking into the landing zone buildability because of a lot of those are related to medical calls. So we're trying to figure out as far as accessing that and if we can go that route. Auto accidents, that's one thing because there is the auto policy there. But as far as the medical, that's a question that we've got to work on. With that being said, giving you an update. Last we spoke, we had some mapping that we were working on to try to fix these coverage areas for the 5 road miles. I have spoken with all of the fire chiefs in the county. They have a copy of the finished report, getting their feedback just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. I expect to have that this week. All goes well, and then we'll be able to send that out to regional, get the maps finalized, and get that fixed with ISO as well. So we're making progress there. That tallied up to roughly about 7.26 square miles of the county for reconciliation of lines and these residences to get them back in a covered area, which it only included areas that could be covered. So it's not a full mapping adjustment. It's just areas that would benefit at this time. Funding, Mr. Mike Flanagan and Commissioner Flanagan have been helping with a line on the congressional discretionary spending for Senator Ossoff's office. We're looking at some store order to help with that ISO and bring those numbers down as well. So hopefully that funding opportunity will be granted, but that's in 27 when we should see that being released, if on such. And to finish it up, we're putting in for the fireworks tax grant, another revenue there with a small match. And we are looking next month to start our next firefighter recruit class. So right now we're prospective 10 to 15 recruits on our board, and we've got a couple of neighboring departments that will be reaching out and helping them out as well, since we have a fair number of instructors.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you again. All right, we'll move to the approval of the minutes. If the board will take a minute to look at the minutes of the February 2nd regular meeting. We have any additions, corrections, or deletions? Move to approve. Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have several seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it's unanimous. We'll go to old business and the trash at the old but landing. So I'll turn it to Jim back.
Yes, sir. As of right now, I have had no calls as it relates to the removal of those. Now, we did place the signs there so the people in that area are familiar with it. But the idea again is to remove the unmanned station or dumpsters in that area because they are creating a lot of trash, either piled up, whether it be washing machines, couches, but it's also mitigating to people's personal property. So what that would do was transition into the Mitchell dump site. But at this time, again, no calls.
May I ask a question? May I ask a question?
Sure, yeah.
So when were the signs put up, and does the sign say anything about who to call?
So the sign direction to be at this meeting.
Okay.
And the signs were put up a week and a half ago.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is anybody from the audience, are y'all here to speak on at the old boat landing? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Would you come to the mic, please? Thank you. I appreciate it. There's some people that watch on the internet, so we'll try to make sure they
Yeah,
get it.
but name's Jeff Nichols. We own the property coming in from the landing to the dumpster. We're picking up a lot of trash now and it's getting out of hand. And like I said, the washing machines, doors, the way that works is when Mitchell is closed, they're directing the traffic down there and it's at all hours of the night.
Okay,
And I'd like to see it moved.
okay. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming. All right. Anybody else? Okay. We'll move on down the line. We spoke about or anything on that issue? Okay. All right.
It should be on the agenda next meeting.
Right. That's what I thought, but I just want to make sure. All right, new business approval of accounts payable. If you'll take a minute and look over this list, if you have a question, I'm sure the county manager can answer it or either get you an answer this week. But what questions do you have on the accounts payable list? Have a motion to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's unanimous. We'll go to the fourth quarter work order report. And all these are on your tablet. So,
Yes, sir. So what you have in front of you is the work order report for the fourth quarter of 2025. Just to let y'all know, there were 30 work orders generated, and at the bottom, you'll see that the average days of completion were 11 and a half. Now that is up from the previous quarter, we were floating more around 9.5. But one of the reasons is if you look towards the top, we did have a culvert replacement on Du Bois Church Road. That is a paved road, and so we want to make sure that we handle that properly. It's not as easy as replacing a culvert and dirt road. So that project's still ongoing, and it shows that in the work order system.
okay, do we have any questions on the work order report for the fourth quarter?
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I think this is great. This report, we've been doing this for a couple of years now, and it's very insightful. So thank you.
Okay, other questions or comments? Okay, we'll move to the fourth quarter financials.
Yes, y'all should have the fourth quarter financials in your packets. I have inundated you with financial stuff this time. So you have the quarter four financials. You also have the full fiscal year of 2025, and you also have a comparison of 2025 and 2024.
It's not on the packet, it's on the table.
It's on your table. My apologies. However, so, I don't expect a lot of questions about that tonight, but if you do see something you want to ask a question about, I'll be glad to answer it as you have
Okay.
them.
Do we have any
I do
questions?
have a question.
Okay.
Just in summary for looking at these numbers for all of last year, would you say things were good or average or not so good?
I think we did very, very well with our planning. If you look at it, it does show revenues for the full fiscal year. It does show revenues down, but that was due to the taxes. If you add what we have collected in January back to that number, our revenues exceeded our expenditures.
Make sure I understand when you say it's due to the taxes being collected, you're talking about we started
Correct.
collections later this past year.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions? Okay, let's move to D, the fourth quarter building summary report, which is also on your tablet.
Yes, so you have in your packet, you have the 2025 quarter four building report summary. And you'll notice that, of course, it's the same building. This is, I think, the fourth time I've done it in this format. But notice that everything that highlighted is highlighted, and the reason being that is the same exact issue we found on the previous report from the previous quarter. So I've highlighted that because it needs to be addressed and addressed timely. So if you have any questions, about it, let me know. But for the most part, it's little things, boxes or items in front of your breaker boxes, trip hazards, extension cords, things of that nature. Fire extinguishers right now, and we actually had the inspector come in Friday, and he's supposed to meet with me tomorrow to get our fire extinguishers inspected for this year, and then that'll be up to date and corrected. But the second thing you have in there is the report from the previous quarter. Highlights are still the same thing from the quarter before that, but what I've done is strike through things that have been corrected between that report and now the new report. So you can see the things that we're working on.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
I do have one question. What about the old courthouse?
So-
What sort of look at or frequency is it being looked at? Just to make sure it's still,
Once a quarter, Paul's going there once a quarter, and I have the form in here. But there was, I mean, it passed inspection, as far as trip hazards and things of that nature, but as far as the condition, the
Right.
fascia board and so forth. But
yeah, just want to make sure somebody's going in once in a while and walking through.
that's right.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions or comments? Okay, we'll go to E, the road engineering authorization.
So this is a very common thing. We're just authorizing, our road engineers the ability to bill us for upcoming work. So as they work on the 25 LRA, the 26 LMIG, and hopefully the 26 LRA, also the GTIB and the WPA road. It just allows them to bill us. So that's all you're doing is authorizing them the ability to bill us up to $53,500.
Okay, any questions from the board? We'll get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it's unanimous. We'll go to F, the request for community support.
So I've had 2 requests for support from organizations within our county. The first one being the Dodge County Chamber of Commerce. They are holding their 45th annual banquet and have asked us to purchase a table like we have done in the past. And you can see, so what normally we do is if you do the backroom sponsor, $1,000, that reserves a table for 8 guests.
You want to do one at a time, or y'all want to do both of them at the same time? Can we get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Um,
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's unanimous. We'll go to the second request.
Second one is the Pond Town Festival. We have received a letter asking for support. Looking back in the past, I believe we did $500 in 1 year, but last year we did do $250.
Okay, what's the board's pleasure?
Move to approve, but I have a question.
Okay, so what are you approving? Do you want to do, you said 500 or 250?
I moved to approve the 500.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. When you get a second, and then we can have a discussion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Have a second. Okay, now discussion.
Well, my discussion was could we move it to 500? Sorry.
Okay,
I
well,
learned
it's in the
something
motion,
tonight.
so it's
I learned
carried. I
something.
mean, it's, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's unanimous. We'll move down to community facilities grant. Is that right?
You want me to, okay. So I've been searching for funding opportunities for the courthouse, projects that we're working on, and came across this USDA rural development loan/grant. It's a forgivable loan. And I called our person that we're supposed to call from Dodge County. There's like a regional person you're supposed to call, so I called him, discussed it with him, and he said the grant is not out there, but the forgivable loan, it sounds like we would qualify. He asked a couple questions. But I couldn't get any information on what that would mean in terms of rates or anything like that. I think I mentioned that to Connor. And then the grant part, when I asked about that, I said, well, what about the grant part? He said there's no state money for grants for these particular, for the rural development stuff. And I said, okay. So he said, but I highly encourage you to contact your representative and let him know that since the state's not providing grant money, that would be something to consider. So that's where that sits. I just wanted you to know I'm looking into these things. This one sounds like it would be good. depending on what the rates are, as far as comparing it to bonds.
Okay. Or do you, anybody on the board got a question? Okay, so you bring us back more information when it's available.
I don't really know how to go forward. I mean, Connor might know how to go forward with getting more information, but
Okay,
I mean, as far as status of what I just said, I can get that, but as far as I don't know how to get how do you get the rates?
Right,
That to me is
okay.
what's necessary.
Yeah. I'll look into that.
okay. Well, we'll try to see what we can find out.
But you can pick, excuse me, one of the other things about that is you pick the bank you want to get the loan with. It's a bank loan guaranteed by the government to be paid. Okay? And so you can choose the bank that is qualified to provide the loan, which means if we have a local bank that wanted to do it, we could use them. I don't know if we do or don't. I haven't researched other than to ask one bank and they said you have to go online to find out and they might be open to do it if they're not. That's about all.
Okay.
Sorry.
Not a problem. We'll do some more research on that. Okay, H, the courthouse.
So in your package, you will find the floor plan for the courthouse annex. That the courthouse committee has been working with Parish and LDD Blue Line. We have also sent it to the clerk of court, the judges, and everybody seems to be happy with these designs. Now, what you'll see is there's two floor plans in there. One does include magistrate and probate, and the other one does not. But I wanted, and then of course, the third drawing in there is for the Sally Port. But if, take some time, review them. If you have any questions, you can ask me or one of the two on the meeting.
When's our next meeting with Parish?
The
27th.
27th. At 11 a.m.
Okay,
May I say something about the
Sure.
bonds? Some people have asked the question, so I'm just going to say it. The Sally Port does not have an elevator. It has a lift. Brian can explain it better, but the way it's set up in this drawing is to be safer. Brian.
What that means is the primary means we go into that bottom underfloor Sally Port to the holding cells above will be a wide set of stairs. That's the primary way. There is a lift in there in case there's a handicapped person, but it keeps everybody together and it was actually more cost effective to do it this way. So that's really that change in play.
okay. All right, thank y'all. All right, we'll move into the schedule a work session for land planning and use of data and sanitation.
So, yes, sir. So we've got a few dates. I'd like to do a work session in March. I know put it in February is going to be kind of rushing things, but March, I know that we do have the legislative breakfast. So I'm looking at March the 9th.
Okay. But the commissioners look at your calendars on March the 9th, and then you need to check with Commissioner Jones about if he's open on the 9th. Does anybody have a conflict on the 9th? Do you have anything?
I don't think so.
How about you?
Don't think so right now. Can we do that early morning or does it have to be in the middle of the day?
8:30 a.m. will be fine.
Everybody good with that?
Yes.
8:30? Okay. Might need to see if you can get him up at that hour. but-
7:30 is better. I can do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask the list that you have here, Connor, is this the full list or can we also add the goals? We need to discuss.
We can
the
definitely
goals.
add, yeah, so right now we can add to the agenda whatever we need to. So if you have something you want to put on that
Yeah,
session,
goals.
by all means, go.
This is for the comprehensive plan, I guess.
No, sir.
No, this
Okay.
is work session.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
just for us. I mean, just things that we're doing here.
Okay. All right. All right, we'll move to J. Mr. Larry Johnson was planning to be here tonight. As most of you know, his wife passed away. The funeral was this morning. So I talked to him yesterday and the day before. So we'll reschedule that part, but I asked the county manager to give an update on what's been going on as far as we're trying to find out information.
Yes, sir. Mr. Larry and Mr. David Hutchinson have approached us, informing us about a potential solar project out there. I guess from Middle Ground Church Road that touches, I'm sorry, is it Chester Highway and goes down to Morgan Church Road. So 3 weeks ago, I reached out to Georgia Power, Mr. Jamie Wood, which is with their property acquisition department. I spoke to him and let him know about the local ordinance we have. And what he informed me of at the time was that he did confirm that there was an option to purchase, but the project itself was awaiting Public Service Commission approval. And nothing was going to happen until that approval was gotten, and he expected to hear something back late second quarter of this year. But in the meantime, he did mention he would work to facilitate a meeting between myself and the project manager. So kind of fast forward 3 weeks, I have not heard anything. So I did try to reach back out to Mr. Jamie Wood Friday, in which case I got his voicemail and I left him a voicemail stating that I was wanting to have that meeting. And then also Mr. Hutchinson gave me a business card. I believe it was Mr. Keith Sawyer, and the phone number in it was not active. It would tell you that you couldn't leave a message. So I did send him an email stating the same thing I told Mr. Wood, and have yet to hear back from either one of them.
Okay. Does anybody have a question for the gentleman? Okay, we'll move into commissioner reports. I'll start with this one.
I guess the big thing right now is we did receive a couple of grants to help with the recycling and with, the projects we do this time in the spring. I'll pass this down, we can look at it, but basically we're going to be March recycling batteries, paper shredding, aluminum, corrugated cardboard. We've had some financial support for that. Excuse me. This is the year, this 250th anniversary of the United States, and so they're doing this Greatest American Cleanup events nationwide, and we've received a little bit of funding to support that too, and that's actually to help with buying supplies like water and gloves, things like that. So the things we're doing there and integrating into it as well is roadside cleanups, and the dates are on here, tire abatement. Tire abatement is May 31 through June 14th. And then cleaning the gardens up around the courthouse. We're going to be doing that. But I'll pass that down if you want the dates. So that's the spring busyness for recycling and cleanup. So Dodge County is supporting all that. And the grant money was $7,500 plus we got approval for the tire abatement. I just forwarded it on to Colin. Forget that amount. It's close to 50,000, and we got I forget the amount. I think it was I don't have my glasses. I'm sorry. I think it was 1,500 for the supplies. Does that sound right, Colin? Or was it 2,000?
I think
1,500 for supplies. So that's a lot of help. Plus the volunteers. And then I attended the Airport Authority meeting this past, what's today, Monday? Last Wednesday. And the exercise of looking at the fuel sales tax is now turned over to Ron for him to check into it to make sure it's correct. If it is correct, it's not a lot of money that comes back to the airport, but it's a good penny. And the numbers that we have on the spreadsheet that Connor filled out and cleaned up for me, what was it? It was like 20,000 times 3, possibly 60,000, and that's just for the avgas. Derek and I met also with the Board of Education to let them know, if they thought they were wondering why somebody's looking into all this, and then mentioning that their East was that was why. They know that we're turning it over to Ron to let him, double check everything. And that was during a year when they were working on the runway, so there wasn't as much fuel sold then. So it's not a lot, but it'd be a big help to what they have to do. Then they've also, Connor can enlighten me more on this if you want to, feel free, Connor. They're also pushing for the GTIB loan, and the loan, GTIB loan grant thing that we did for the one road, the road that Brian brought forward, is in a couple other roads. That same opportunity is there for hangars at airports, and they want hangars. But the match was a problem. So the match has been removed for hangars from the GTIB rules. So they want, the problem is they can't, since they're not a tax collecting entity, they cannot do the grant. They have to have someone do it for them. And they immediately came out after the county, and I said, wait a minute, let's, you're gonna come ask the county for that, and need to check with the city and other options too, because we just gave them some support, a lot of support. So Connor can enlighten you on all that. He was there at the meeting. And then they're pursuing funding, and they're really running me fast. Maybe I don't think I'm gonna be able to do everything that they're asking. Because I don't have a plane. Can't fly that fast. So I would say that's about it. As far as the legislative things go, I'll leave some of the things that I know Connor is passionate about. He can bring them up. I will just say that all of that regarding what he's going to be bringing up is still in flux, major flux. But I will just say that I think it was the House that approved. No, it was the Senate that went ahead and approved the fact that you can opt out of 581 is no longer valid. Okay, they went ahead and did that. That's probably a play to, force people to go along with this new stuff that they're wanting to do with the sales tax. I mean, with the property taxes. But that's going across now for vote. And the reason for that, I'll tell you, my understanding, the reason for that is they got mad, real mad, that 159 counties voted to not opt out. And what was it, 32 counties or some number like that?
Same with school systems.
Yeah, said, no, we're opting out. So they're mad now. And that's what we're dealing with.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great.
Yes, so I have had the request from several of my constituents to have a town hall for District 2, and we will be doing that. I had planned on doing it on the 26th, but that date has a conflict. So as soon as we know that date, I'll put it out there. But it is in the works, and it'll be first, second week in March. We'll get that date out for y'all so we can discuss the stepchild District 2. I'm thinking nobody likes District 2, or either they really like us. One of the two.
Is that it? All right.
No,
Okay. All right, we'll go to the county manager report.
I'm gonna pick up where Sharon left off. Senate Bill 382 repeals the options for local governments to opt out of House Bill 581. The bill does allow what we know is the FLOST to be an option in every county by removing a condition for the call of the FLOST referendum. So it will be more of like a LOST, where as long as you have an agreement with the municipalities, you would send it directly to the Department of Revenue for collection.
House does not have to be voted on.
That's correct. That's what it says here.
All right, is this a potential bill or is this one passed?
This one is passed the Senate.
Okay.
This one has passed the Senate. Now, of course, March the 6th, it will cross over and we'll see what the House does with it. But then again, House Bill 1116 is the one we talked about at the last meeting. It is now called the Home Act of 2026. Of course, that is the one that steps up homestead exemption from the current $2,000 over the next 6 years. And then at the end of 6 years, it goes, homestead exemption would be 100% value. What I do want to kind of talk on is some of the stuff in there. Of course, it does have a FLOST provision in it, allows it to be used for the homestead exemption, subject to an intergovernmental agreement with municipalities. But then it creates a new one called a new homestead option sales tax. They call it in-host. And that covers the cost of homestead exemptions granted to local school systems to 2%. Now, make sure you all understand this, that with 581, you could put a floss in, right? That would take your cap of sales tax from local government to 5%. You know, right now we're at 4 because we opted out of 581. eSplosh is 1%. So right now they're, you know, we have 3, they have 1 equals the 4. And then of course that's splosh, T-splosh, and lost. But what this effectively does is it would allow the schools to get 2 of the pennies and leave us with 3. So even if you have that additional one added on, it still limits us. So if this goes through as written, you may have to repurpose one of your 1-cent sales taxes to this floss from the county perspective. So you may lose a splosh or a T-splosh. So I know that the county managers and administrators are really working to get some of the inner workings and restrictions on there. Moving on, again, my favorite senator has sponsored Senate Bill 422, and that is Tim Bearden. Again, requiring municipal elections unless local legislation states otherwise to occur in even numbered years to align with state and federal elections. And then of course it does have the rules on how it would extend one of the officials' term. You know, we get a 1-year extension. Senate Resolution 668 proposes a constitutional amendment to allow the General Assembly to establish industrial use property and data centers as a separate class of property for ad valorem purposes. Local governments could then levy unique millage rates on those particular properties. House Bill 377 mandates local governments use qualification-based selection, or otherwise known as QBS, to hire services from professionals such as architects, land surveyors, landscape architects, and engineers when preliminary construction costs exceed $1 million or when professional services cost more than $75,000. Again, so you're not based it on the price. So that how we normally do our bid, we get bids, we look for the apparent low bidder. That kicks that out. You cannot know a price of a product until you have selected the individual. So this bill has been coming up for the last 5 years. And it keeps getting beat every time. So we want to continue that on. We want you not only to be qualified, but have a market price. This takes that competition out. House Resolution 1000 proposes a constitutional amendment to exempt timber cut and sold from FLIPA from all ad valorem property taxes. The latest version of the bill required the state to reimburse all of the tax costs to local governments. House Bill 1063 requires electric utilities to structure data center contracts to ensure building and operating costs are not passed to residential and retail customers. Wish they'd have done that for Plant Vogel. And then also, this is an interesting one. House Bill 1133 authorizes GEFA, and that's the Georgia Environmental Finance Authority, to finance solar installations on closed landfills. Interesting. And then the last one from the Senate that caught my eye was Senate Bill 496, states that proposed municipal annexations are contingent on the county government adopting a resolution consenting to the change. That's the legislative update. Now I do have a one community update, recreation cleanup day. Calling on all community-minded individuals to come out to the rec on February the 28th to help get our recreation department, edged and pressure washed and just kind of nice and manicured for our opening day in March. And the last update I have for you is a communication I received today regarding State Route 257, particularly the portion that runs from Empire to Chester, and in particular the bridge that crosses Gum Swamp. The letter I have received is that project has been awarded to Southern Concrete Construction Company. And they were scheduled to close that road and bridge on April the 6th. They do note that that date is subject to change based on weather conditions. It does not give a timeline of how long it will take to complete, but then they also did provide the map for the detour again, which is to stay on Highway 126 on into Cochran and then come back around using Highway 87 to reconnect back to 257, which we know is not going to happen. They will be taking Chicken Road. So, but at least we have a time frame on it now, so it will be April the 6th.
Okay,
Based on past experience, we could probably estimate from 3 to 6 months.
I think that's fair.
as far as the rectifier ties the roof on the gym.
So far, so good. Now, when they originally installed it, we were notified of 3 leaks. They did come out and repair those leaks, and I've not heard anything. So I need to talk. I haven't spoken to Spook today, especially since we had rain yesterday, but I will do that and have a better update for you at the next meeting.
Okay, do we have any other questions for the county manager? Okay, at this time we have public comments. If you're in a group, you got somebody who wants to speak, that might save this crowd a little time, but if not, if you'll come to the microphone, and just let us know your comments. I'll start over here. Mr. Harrington or ma'am. Okay, start on the back row, you gentlemen, either one of y'all. Okay,
Brown Road is not a detour when those marks to. We spent half a day picking up trash, not like little traffic.
okay, thank you. But if you would, if you want to make a comment, come to the mic. Okay, gentleman with the hat on, if you'll come up, I'd appreciate it. We do have people watching on the internet.
My name's Johnny Hall, I live in Empire. This gentleman just made reference to Chicken Road. I actually live in Blakely County, but I lived in Dodge for many years of my life. Chicken Road is very quickly becoming a big path. It is beat out, it is beat up, it's got potholes in it, it needs attention. There's not a lot of houses on that road, but there's some pretty big landowners on that road. They pay a lot of taxes. So I'm sure they would like to see their tax dollars, maybe go for something like that. I noticed today they're repairing some potholes with asphalt. They're just patching here and there, but it desperately needs resurfacing. So if they do close that bridge, he's right. It's gonna get a lot worse a lot quicker. So and that's the reason I came tonight was to ask about if there are any plans to do anything in the next 20 years. A reasonable time to maybe have that road resurfaced, because I travel that road quite a bit, and honestly, it's getting in pretty bad shape.
Okay, thank you. Mark, go ahead.
Mr. Allen, I'll answer that. The answer is yes. The reason why we haven't done it was intentional, because we knew this detour was coming, and the semi trucks, if we resurfaced it quickly, they beat it out. So we wanted to wait until this project was completed before we did do that. But yes, sir, it is definitely on our agenda to get that done.
Okay.
Probably within, if as soon as that project's over, I'd say that within 6 months, hopefully we'll be started on that.
Because from, let's see, from Matthew Jones's old place, on up to Macedonia Church, it's in pretty good shape. And from Macedonia Church on, to the Cochran Chester Highway, it's in good shape. And, I forget that other road.
Yeah.
But anyway, that general area is in pretty good shape. It's just the area from Empire to just beyond Matthew Jones.
I was gonna say, what I noticed, it started
It starts at the intersection of Roddy Highway and
I need to go
Chicken
to
Road
What's
to
that?
take a left.
well, full way, but you can go a little bit further too, to where it stopped, where that road goes on and, circles back around and goes back to Middle Georgia College. Is it Frank Cook Road?
Frank
Cook.
Road.
I would say from Frank Cook all the way back to the county line, is where it needs the most attention.
Well, from Mr. Matthews' house all the way to the Cochran bypass, this terrible. And we have discussed it. The road committee has discussed it, Sharon on the road committee, but there's no reason to go spend all those hundreds of thousands of dollars. And even if Connor puts the signs out, and you do plan to do that, to try to keep big trucks off, they're not gonna stay off that road.
Right, they're gonna take the short route. I used to drive to, that would be. But honestly, that's why I came tonight to ask about that. I had no idea it was, gonna be discussed.
Yes.
So, but I had heard that bridge was gonna be closed, in the next short period of time to have it replaced.
Right. But thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
If we can get it paved, however, whatever it takes to get it paved, I'd love to see it paved because it's in bad shape.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Up front. Come on up.
How did you know I wanted to talk?
Well,
You're here.
look interested in talking, okay?
I'm Wallace Mullis, everybody knows me for, so. First of all, we had a fire out of our place December, about, I think, fire department, all the volunteers, everybody that came out and helped, done a damn up job. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I just got something I'd like to speak to y'all as community leaders for Dodge County. This kind of ties in a bit with the comprehensive plan that's coming up. And I found out most people don't know nothing about what a comprehensive plan is or even that one exists. So, I know my time's limited, so I'm just gonna hit the high points on this, but I think we have a hunting tourism economy here that's not appreciated. I think, Georgia has $1.6 billion of economic impact just from hunting. Locally in Dodge County, during deer season, lodging, the hotels fill up, and there again, I'm just speaking of what our customers tell us. The eating restaurants, you go to any restaurant during hunting season, there's tons of camouflage people in there eating. Locals, Florida's, other parts of the state. Processing, there's several processors here. They can't keep up with the demand. They fill up, they close, they overwhelm. Feed stores, feed and seed. Chasmar, I talked with them the other day. I didn't realize it. I've seen it, but didn't pay it any attention. But the sporting goods department is the biggest department in that whole store. And he said that's because of the amount of hunting related stuff that they sell. Planning, there's other people in the community that are hired out by these landowners or leasees. So it's a, I don't know, most of y'all I assume are not hunters, so you probably don't really see that side of everything, but, taxidermy, there's several taxidermists here. We're turning work away. We can't do it all. Retail, go to Walmart, look how many camouflage Florida tags, gas stations, grocery stores, clothing, guns, ammo, Canon at wholesale. Big part of their business is hunters that's coming in, they're building a little cabin or all kinds of stuff. But so every time we have, like us, we're affected by the soil farm, and there's several more that's being talked about. Every time we have one of these big projects come in, that just cuts into the amount of money that is spent locally from hunters. Back to the Georgia, there's $977 million in sales, 24,000 jobs created. Fishing, another $1.5 billion. It goes into the economic impact in Georgia, 15,000 jobs, $109 million paid in taxes. So it's a big business. It's tourism to this county. I don't know what other tourism in Dodge County would draw the amount of money that this brings to Dodge County. So, I just done some rough numbers. I looked on the Georgia DNR website. There was $1,193 here in Dodge County this year. And talking with our customers, we're kind of been doing a survey, just asking them how much money they spend
And they don't all kill bugs. Some of them go 3 or 4, 5 years without killing a bug because they're looking for a certain bug. And so I just broke down some numbers. Probably the highest person that I have spoken with as a customer, his family spends $30,000 a year in Dodge County related to hunting. Leases, food, taxidermy, processing, lodging. So the average seems to be about $15,000 that people are spending. So if you take that 1,193 bucks that's killed in Dodge County and just throw a $10,000 average, everybody don't spend $10,000. A lot of them spend a lot more. That's $11,930,000 that could be spent right here in Dodge County. And is there any other tourism in Dodge County that brings that kind of money? And I don't know if y'all realize it or not, but the face of Dodge County is changing. There ain't hardly a week goes by that we don't have a customer from Florida that has bought property up here, and they're either building a house or is buying a house, but they're selling their house in Florida to get away from the growth that most of our leaders want to do. The Economic Development Authority, growth is what all leaders seem to want. And it's like this growth is going to be the problem solver. If we get this, we're going to be good because it's going to pay for all this. Name me a city, Macon, Warner Robins, wherever, that's got all this growth that don't have money problems. So, but people come to this area because of the remoteness and the ruralness of it and what it has to offer. So I think as a community, we got the Pond Town Festival, we got different festivals. Let's have a deer festival. You know, learn how to make money off of the people that's coming here to spend money. Okmulgee EMC, talked to a guy there. Most of the new connects are people from Florida that have moved up here. So these people are coming. They're not people that want a job at whatever factory's going to open up. They're people that are successful business people that's coming here, and they're bringing their expertise here and starting businesses to do things in this community. And I would think we would rather have that than people that come in that's wanting to go to work at whatever factory that can open here. So, you know, they're self-starters. They're coming in and they're doing stuff. But anyway, Wayne County, I don't know if y'all follow anything in Wayne County, Georgia, but their Chamber of Commerce or whoever it is down there, they have a catfish tournament on the river that draws people from all over the southeast. Have a wild hog festival. They have a lot of outdoor related activities going on that's bringing people to their community to spend money. We've got the stuff here just like they do. We need to take advantage of it.
Sure. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's a great idea. We'll work on that for sure.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Right on that row. Anybody else? All right, hang on. Let me come up one more row and then I'll get your row. Anybody on the next row? Okay, ma'am, come on up. Oh, he's coming. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
I'm getting another one of those Empire people. I'm Robert Belfleur. I live on Old Empire Road.
Right.
I just wanted to comment on the fact that we've heard that they're going to build a data center, right, almost in my backyard. And I wanted to express my opposition to that because I think if you know most of these people live out there, we live out there for a reason, and that's the solitude and the quiet neighborhood. And we don't feel like a data center is the right thing to put in there. Now, we're concerned about water because it takes a lot of water there. If you're going to drill down to get enough water for that thing, it's probably most of our wells will go dry. Ours has already been had lowered once. I don't have to lower it again. And I only have one request of all 5 of them. When you go vote on this, vote like it's in your backyard.
Okay, thank you. We don't have one looking right now. So The power is the main problem. The water, they've come up with a radiator type system that reduces the amount of water they use. But when this board, if they decide they want to have a hearing, we'll probably set up one sometime and try to get an expert, if you want to call it that. Danny Mathis, who's a representative for this area, talked to me about a week and a half ago. I think he's really wanting to do something like that, so he'd have to help us get somebody in here. But until the power situation is straightened out, I don't see one happening. But it's kind of like the solar farm or the solar project out on Gum Swamp, which we were talking about earlier. I mean, Georgia Power has not come to us. And they're gonna have to realize that we have ordinances in place concerning that. And when the board gets ready if they ever decide to do something on an ordinance, on a data center, that'll be in place. But I mean, at this point, there's a lot of speculation, I'm afraid. So
I think you just answered one of my questions, but why Danny Mathis didn't call me back. Because I called him, and he didn't return my call.
well, he's wanting to have a public hearing that, I think somebody said they're having one in Bleckley. I'm not sure when, but, if this board votes to have one and try to get an expert in here, that'd be the thing to do. Somebody like with the University of Georgia, Corporate Extension Service, somebody that knows, not biased, just knows, the good and the bad and the ugly, or, we can discuss whatever. But right now, there's too many. It's just not on the radar for us. I mean, we don't have the transportation for the power to get it to a certain spot to make it happen. And like a transformer to take it down from one level to another is 4 years out. I mean, they don't have them on the shelf. And I read an article today that a company that makes the what do you call it? The processors for these things is sold out. I mean, they don't have any. So, I mean, it's just, it's not a short-term thing that's going to happen. It's, my opinion. So, but get involved. That's the thing to do.
See, that's what we want to do, is get involved very
Right.
close. I know one got approved in Twiggins County before a lot of the residents knew this
Right.
company.
Right.
But wouldn't you think more sense to put it in the, your, industrial park rather than put it out in the country like that?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, you've got probably one of the counties in Virginia. I think it's Halifax.
Loudon.
Which one? Loudon. I mean, they set theirs up where, certain area has these data centers, and they have several. So, I mean, I'm just trying to say that, we need to be prepared. We need to understand what they're about, but I don't think that they're coming to rural Georgia as fast as some people think. Even the one in Twiggins County, I mean, they got a huge solar farm, but then they got equipment issues that, and power issues that will have to be addressed before it'll ever happen. I haven't kept up with Twiggins County, but maybe Mr. Mathis will return to your call. I hope.
So you're telling me that if I'm an 82-year-old man, I might not live long enough for it to be built close to me?
Well, I tell you what, I'm surprised that the 4-lane between Eastman and Cochran got finished in my lifetime. Because I can remember North Dodge was just completed. That's the elementary school across from her house. And the DOT had a hearing there talking about this 4-lane going to Cochran. And that was probably how many years ago?
28.
Yeah, so and it's only been finished in the last couple of years, so it probably ain't gonna move fast.
It took them forever to finish that. too.
They did. So thank you for coming though. We appreciate it. And just keep watching the paper or our website. You'll hear something, I'm sure. But thank you for coming. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Gail Floyd, and I'm going to go off a little bit of what Mr. Bellflower said. I do realize that, obviously there's a lot of speculation. I have seen that there was some letter posted actually from the Dodge County Commissioners that's had a meeting with, I believe it was last year, maybe don't quote me on that. I couldn't go back and find it. But there was a meeting with Larry Walker in regards to a data center. So obviously there's a lot of, I don't know, speculation or not. Anyway, But we're here because we want to at least go ahead and say what our opinion is on it and how we do not want this in our area. I grew up in Empire. My family has had land there for over 80 years. And, you know, I own 34 acres there, and I have a wildlife conservation tax deduction on there, and there's a reason for that. Most of y'all probably know what that, why people have those wildlife tax deductions on there. But just to, you know, start out, I have emailed you everything that I'm going to say right here today, but I do want to make sure that I get the opportunity to at least have this on record, whether or not there's speculation that there's one being done or even there's not. Let's just start with, you know, Empire as a square miles. You know, Empire is very small. It's 2.3 square miles, which is about 1,530 acres. We're not talking about a big area. According to the census report, there's only 306 people there. And, you know, there's other people like myself that have homes there on the weekend that we go into, and we value that privacy in that wildlife area. According to the USDA National Statistics, Bleckley County has about 33,000 total acres. Almost 15 of that is farm acres, which is crops. Another 2,000 of that is livestock and pasture. In Dodge County, there's almost 85,000 acres of land. Almost 27 of that is for crops, and almost 82,000 is for livestock and pasture. In our area, in both of our counties, we have federally endangered species in there. One, of course, being our bald eagle. We have seen some reoccurrence in that in our area of seeing, you know, bald eagles in there, but I'm almost 60 years old, and, you know, the first time I've seen one was in my 50s. So that just says a lot about what we've done with our conservation and our wildlife as preserving that. We also have others, which is on my property. I have the gopher tortoise, which is endangered, as well as the black indigo snake. There are others that are on that endangered species list. Another thing that, you know, I want to bring up is that, you know, and I think that the fire chief officer here had brought that up, that we are in a severe drought. You know, according to the USD, US Drought Monitor, you know, we've been in extreme drought, which is defined as 98 to 100% drier than past conditions. As of February, Dodge County and Bleckley experiences ongoing drought, which 100% of the population of both counties are affected. You know, while this drought continues to fluctuate, there are speculation that it'll run through late spring. So another thing that, you know, I want to look at as far as the negatives of these data centers and, you know, why we are against them. Most of these facilities, from what I understand, are only 10 to 40 acres. That may not be a lot of acres, but when you're looking at 1,500, well over 1,500 acres for a small place like Empire, that's a big area. Some of them can even run greater than, you know, up to 500 acres. They run on fossil fuels or diesels, which enormous power, as we said, there's a lot of power strain on our power grids. They also, you know, have from what I understand, a small humming noise, and I guess that could be the same as what you see for these massive power lines that run through some of our properties. You know, whether we're talking about these small facilities or not, like I said, Empire is just not designed for this data center. Yes, we're a small Georgia rural town, which can put more strain on the community than provide positive ones. The noise, the pollution, the water, and the hardships of families on the farms and on these endangered species. This data center will disrupt the normal life cycle of these animals and could possibly lead to their extinction. My family has owned this land over 80 years and will continue to own this land for more than that. And this is something that we don't want in our area. So if there is a proposition, or even in the future, that there possibly can be one that's even talked about, you know, we as the people of that county and that town and Empire, you know, I think we should be the first to know, and we should be the ones that, you know, will help determine whether or not it's good for our community or not. I thank you for your time here and
Yeah.
allowing me to
Thank you
speak.
for coming, and be assured that, you know, if one comes this way, this board will definitely have public hearings on. I mean, that's a given. Okay, front row? Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm gonna piggyback off them. I'm Lonnie Moss, and I'm from Empire also. And same thing about the data center. If they're talking about coming there, I prefer not to be there. Thinking of the future of my kids, my grandkids, and also like about the water table. If they come in, we thinking that they're gonna use a lot of water, and we already have big time farmers have to have their water. And then us, the local people, we got them small wells, and we can't even afford to dig deep enough to get any more water. And everybody needs water. And who say if they do put it in, they're gonna mess up they're gonna pollute it some kind of way. They may say it might not, they may have a system that they say is gonna purify, but hey, we know they don't purify everything. And that's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you for coming. All right. Okay, all right, anything else from the Board of Commissioners? Can we get a motion to adjourn? Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Thank y'all for coming.